This episode is brought to you by FX's The Bear. The hit series returns with Jeremy Allen White in the Golden Globe-winning role of Carmy. He and the team will transform their family sandwich shop into a next-level spot, all while being forced to come together in new ways as they confront their past and reckon with who they want to be in the future. FX's The Bear. All episodes now streaming, only on Hulu.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1806. Don't pass down your food and body image baggage. 5 rules to raise your kids by Sally Kuzemchak of RealMomNutrition.com. Hello, everybody, and thanks so much for being here with me today on ORD. I'm your host and narrator, Greg Audino, excited to once again introduce a brand new author to you. Today, I'll be sharing the work of registered dietitian Sally Kuzemchak, who, as you will see, writes a lot of great material, most often about how to raise healthy children, and how you as a parent can take a mindful approach that aids in the development of not just a physically healthy child, but also a mentally healthy one. I'll tell you more about her after the reading, but without further ado, let's hear Sally's work as we optimize your life. Don't pass down your food and body image baggage. 5 rules to raise your kids by Sally Kuzemchak of RealMomNutrition.com. Like most moms, mine occasionally gives me unsolicited advice about my appearance. Over the years, she has politely questioned the black lug sole loafers I wore with nice dresses, my 4 sizes too big blazer, and the extra messy bun I put my hair in for a family wedding. Hey, it was the 90s. But for the record, she was right on all 3 accounts. But my mom never mentioned my weight. She never eyed my hips and suggested a smaller helping of pasta, even when I returned home from my freshman year of college with 15 extra pounds on my 5'1" frame. She never talked about her weight either. She's always been petite, so maybe it's no surprise that she never griped about it. But as we know, plenty of people in all sizes of bodies agonize over goal weights, deny themselves enough food, and complain about their belly. But in my house, weight was never mentioned. No one was on a diet. While so many of the girls I knew were counting calories and calling themselves fat, home was a safe haven away from that kind of self-loathing. Not only did my mom never talk about her weight, but she also never talked about foods being good or bad. We almost always had home-baked goodies, potato chips, and ice cream stocked in the kitchen. We also had home-cooked meals every night, vegetables from the garden, and fresh fruit in the crisper drawer. But when I gained that weight in college, my mom knew I wasn't happy about it, because I told her. So, at my request, she helped me cover the cost of seeing a local dietitian, who taught me that bagels, waffles, pizza crust, pretzels, and cereal were indeed in all the same food group, and that I would do well to occasionally incorporate some vegetables and protein into the mix. That dietitian also sparked my interest in nutrition, which eventually led me to become a dietitian too. So, I'm grateful. A lot of women weren't so lucky. Over the years, I've heard stories of parents weighing and measuring food, withholding dessert, and requiring after-dinner exercise to burn off calories. I've heard of households where diet talk was rampant, where weight loss plans were posted on the fridge, and where praise was given only to those with smaller portions and smaller bodies. Research has shown that growing up in a home with dieting and negative talk about bodies and food really hurts kids, not just in the moment, but also long-term. People who grew up in a diet-centric environment are more likely to feel dissatisfied with their body and weight. How to put your kid on a positive path. As a parent, you play a powerful role in your child's views on weight, dieting, and eating. And FYI, boys can develop a negative body image and disordered eating just like the girls can. Here are 5 rules to raise your kids by. Number 1, keep body talk positive. Don't talk about your weight or your child's weight or bemoan the size of your thighs. Instead, Talk about how your strong legs helped you hike the mountain or run a 5K. When your child inevitably comments on someone's body in public, acknowledge that there are all kinds of bodies, and that all bodies are good and worthy bodies. Bonus? Say enough positive things about your own body, and you'll internalize those thoughts, which might just quiet your inner critic. Number 2, green light all foods. There are no good foods and bad foods. You aren't good for ordering the veggie plate or bad for eating pie. And kids should not grow up with a list of good and bad foods in their heads. They shouldn't connect their own goodness with what they're eating. These labels are especially confusing for kids, who may be genuinely afraid that they are bad for liking and wanting cookies and chips. Most kids love sweets, yet parents may talk about sugar as being bad, or kids being good if they ate fruit instead of cookies for dessert. And don't get me started on parents telling their kids that organic lollipops are good, but regular ones are bad. Talk about confusing. If you grew up with the diets and lists of foods that were off limits, you might struggle with this, and that is okay. This is your chance to break the cycle, and it can take some self-work. Number 3, let kids control their portion. Offer a variety of foods at mealtime, and allow your kids, if they're able, to serve themselves, letting them eat the foods and amounts that they want. Some research has shown that restricting how much kids eat, especially forbidden foods like desserts and salty snacks, can backfire, causing some children to crave them even more, and to even sneak or overeat them as a result. Demands, like eat 2 more bites, are also unhelpful, interfering with your kids' natural ability to recognize their own hunger and fullness. Imagine your partner insisting that you take 2 more bites when you're feeling stuffed. Number 4, make changes together. Any tweaks related to food or exercise should be positive and involve the whole family, like more after-dinner walks or more fresh fruit on the counter. Nobody should be singled out with a weight loss diet, food restrictions and rules, or extra exercise. And number 5, don't panic about your kid's body. Over the years, you'll watch your child's body grow and change, and there may be moments you worry. Talk to the pediatrician, privately, who can tell you if your child is following their growth curve, and if not, what might be going on. For instance, many kids gain pounds before inches leading up to a growth spurt. But no matter where your child lands, it's crucial to accept their body, which may be bigger, smaller, shorter, or taller than you thought it would be. Kids should feel loved and appreciated for who they are, not for the size of their bodies. You just listened to the post titled, Don't Pass Down Your Food and Body Image Baggage, 5 Rules to Raise Your Kids by Sally Kuzemchak of RealMomNutrition.com.
This episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. When life gets busy, you grind, you push, you reach for a stick of Liquid IV powder. It hydrates you 2 times faster than water alone, so you can crush goals and your to-do list. Because real life is extreme enough. Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Buy a stick in store or at liquidiv.com with the code podcast for 20% off your order.
The new 2023 Ford Escape is the perfect getaway car. Featuring an available 13.1-inch center stack screen, 360-degree camera, and Bang & Olufsen sound system and spatial flexibility for extra legroom. The new 2023 Ford Escape. Learn more at Ford.com. Some models, trims, and features may not be available or may be subject to change.
And a big thank you to Sally, not just for this post, but for many more to come in the future. Now, being that it is her first post with us, in lieu of my normal commentary at the end, I will use this time to tell you a bit more about her. So, Sally received her master's degree in dietetics from the Ohio University in 2006. And as a registered dietitian, she's worked in weight management, prenatal nutrition, and diabetes education in both clinical and community settings. She's also served as adjunct faculty at Otterbein University, Ohio University Lancaster, and Ohio University Chillicothe. As a writer specializing in nutrition, she's been published in nearly 20 national magazines, including New York Times, Parents, Prevention, Health, and Family Circle. She's the author of 2 books, The 101 Healthiest Foods for Your Kids, and Cooking Light Dinnertime Survival Guide, and she has also been interviewed on both Fox and NBC. So with all that being said, keep an eye out for her work on our health show as well, Optimal Health Daily, but you can be sure she'll be a regular staple here on our parenting episodes too. But I'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and welcoming Sally to ORD. Have a great Friday if you're listening in real time, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.